Hey everybody, this is Alan, and I'm going to talk to you about Brazil. My informative speech is about Brazil because one of my best friends is Rafael Cunha, who is in our class, and he is from Brazil. Well, he was born in Texas and then moved to Brazil at a young age and grew up there until middle school and he moved back here. His dad is the dean of the music at Campbell University. One of the first things I found is that it is the largest country in South America and is the fifth largest country in the world. I didn't really notice how big that Brazil was until I looked into studying for this speech. And it has one of the fastest growing major economies of the world. I thought this was pretty interesting because whenever you think of big economies throughout the world, you think China and Japan and the US, but you don't ever really think about Brazil. The weather in Brazil is something that people always think about how nice it is and everything else, which it is. The average temperature in Brazil is 77 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's such a big country that it hosts 5 different climate subtypes. And I thought this was pretty interesting that the country could be big enough to host that many subtypes. Another thing that goes hand in hand with the weather is the tourism. In Brazil, the tourism industry is huge because without tourism, they would lose a lot of their revenue. The tourism industry in Brazil in 2011 brought in $6.8 million, and that's not counting the people who sold stuff without turning it into taxes and whatnot. And they took the money straight without any taxes or anything else. Catholicism is the main religion in Brazil, and it's interesting because it has the largest following of any other country in the world. Portuguese is the official language of Brazil, and from what I can tell from Rafael, it's kind of relating to Spanish, but it's not directly to that. Some of the stuff can go together, but it just depends on how it's worded or all that. And food in Brazil is also very interesting, which it's kind of Spanish too. Like whenever you go to the Mexican restaurant, you'll get rice and beans, and that's how it is in Brazil. You get rice and beans, and a meat and a salad with your meal. And it took me a while to find the national drink of Brazil, but it is coffee, which I found that interesting because I don't think of coffee whenever I think of Brazil. A negative thing about Brazil is the crime. Cocaine and marijuana is huge in Brazil, so that makes the crime rate higher because of the smuggling and trafficking in Brazil, and all the guards in Brazil trying to hide it. Whenever the police and other dealers come, a lot of people die. And then you get to soccer in Brazil. Soccer is by far the most important sport in Brazil. It's one of the most important things to anybody in Brazil, from what I can tell. And Rafael tried to explain to me how big it is in Brazil, but you can't really grasp that until you go visit, I think. Brazil is among the best ranked soccer teams in the world, and they have won the World Cup a record 5 times, which that is a huge feat because I don't think any other team is even close to that record. Well, I think that's all I've got for you. Thank you.